So yesterday or a few days ago, I put out a video regarding employees, independent contractors, how you're onboarding different folks, and I got a few questions from some viewers on Facebook or social media asking, how do you determine whether someone's an independent contractor versus an employee? Now, uh, that's a very common question and issue we see all of the time, and unfortunately, a lot of times businesses get it wrong. And as we mentioned in the previous video, it can get them in a little bit of trouble um, with the IRS for misclassification, taxes, those sorts of things. So, in general, the courts have considered, many facts in deciding what constitutes an employee versus an independent contractor, but it really comes down to three categories. Uh, of control, really, and relationships. So behavioral control is one, financial control is another one, and then kind of the relationship of the parties. How do they see it? So what am I talking about with behavioral control? Um, it's really whether there's a right to direct or control the actions of that individual. A worker is an employee when the business has the right to tell them when to come, when to clock in, what to do, uh, that sort of thing. If they don't have direct control, like they can show up whenever they want, they're given kind of here's the end result, but not necessarily in the weeds as to exactly the type of work that needs to be done, how it's done, when it's done. To get there, they might have a deadline, but they're not dictating step by step by step of the independent contractor. They would be there if it was an employee. So, kind of the instructions. If you receive extensive instructions on how your work is to be done, it really suggests that you're an employee. How, when, where to work, what tools or equipment to use, who's going to help you with the job, where to purchase items from, those sorts of things. That really kind of leans more towards the employee side versus independent contractor. So behavioral control. Next one's financial control. Is the person making a significant investment into their skill set, their equipment, supplies, those sorts of things that are being utilized to complete the job. So if they have the equipment to do the job, let's say it's a construction worker, they have the hammers, the nail, all their stuff, nail guns, ladders, paintbrushes, you name it, they have it. That would indicate that they are independent of the employer, because the employer is not providing them with the necessary equipment, supplies, and everything to do their job. Does the individual incur expenses that are not going to be reimbursed by the company? So, for instance, maybe they're hiring help to help perform the job, so they're incurring that cost. Maybe they're buying all of the materials to complete the job, or they have software or technology that they utilize in completing the job. That would indicate more of an independent contractor. But if you're providing the software or the tools, the actual tools to get the work done, that would tend to be more of an employee type relationship. Now, also, you can look at the individual. An independent contractor has the ability for profit or loss within a job, right? So they have to really track their profitability, their production, their overhead, everything that goes into it for that job. An employee doesn't have to do that. You as the business owner take the responsibility for profit and loss on types of jobs. And then there's the relationship to the parties. Of course, if you're providing employee benefits, health care, 401k, those sorts of things, that's going to indicate more of an employee type relationship. If you always have the same person doing jobs for you, you're, like I said, kind of behavioral, telling them when and where and what um, to do those jobs, that'd be great. Do you have written contracts? Do you have a contract written for someone that kind of identifies them as a independent contractor, or is it more of an employee relationship? So those are just some of the items. There's not a true ironclad checklist to go through, but based on behavioral control, financial control, and relationship to the parties, you can pretty much identify what they are. And it's important that you do so correctly because, as we mentioned in previous videos, the IRS could come back, and if they classify someone that you've been treating as an independent contractor, you've been issuing a 1099, you haven't been paying uh, Social Security and Medicare on behalf of that employee, now you could be responsible for paying both the employee and the employer share of the FICA tax. So it could be a big deal. We've seen businesses almost put under because of it. So make sure you're looking at it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to help guide you through and provide some ways that you can help answer this for yourself and start doing things the way they need to be done.